I'm very happy to be here. More than happy, I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm thrilled to see all these intelligent faces looking at me. I hope I can live up to your expectations. I've been at this for 25 years now, and I never intended to get deeply involved with it. In all frankness, I did want to see an alternative methodology for people to have mutual aid without necessarily going to AA and NA, because in my experience as a physician, I found many people who either couldn't benefit from it or didn't benefit from it or wouldn't go to it for one reason or another. And there just was really no place for them to go. In that era, psychiatrists didn't want them, really didn't know how to help them. And there were very few so-called addictionologists around. None of them seemed to be very interested in what I was trying to start as an alternative. And eventually it fell into my lap that if I didn't get involved, it was going to die after I'd invested a lot of time and energy in...
Turn on the sound.
Okay, thank you.
You're on now.
Okay. After I'd put in a lot of time and energy in getting the thing started. So I eventually had to take over as facilitator at the first group. And as soon as I did that, I was very engaged, because I saw what a remarkable effect it was having on people, and how many people were there who didn't seem to get anything to resonate with them from a 12-step approach, and who were very enthusiastic about this approach. And a few weeks later, I got a call from somebody in Shrewsbury. Said he had a room in a library, wanted to get a meeting started there, and I said, oh my God, it's 40 minutes each way from Boston. But I went out there and I started that group, and then 3 weeks later someone called me from Falmouth. All these names are familiar to you, right? From Falmouth, said, hey, I have a room in the basement of the Falmouth Synagogue, can you come out here and get a meeting started? And well, what can I say? That was 3,000 meetings ago, 3,000. My wife's sitting over here, she's done 1,000, because she said, hey, I'll never see you if I don't start doing it. So, as you can see, I'm a workaholic. I've never had a personal substance abuse problem. But it's just thrilling to see what's come of this. We now have over 1,000 meetings worldwide, over 1,000. That's dwarfed by the 12-step, but it's number 2. And being number 2 in the world isn't bad in anything, probably. I want to start off in the beginning of the day, rather than talking a lot about smart recovery, what's happened, how it developed, where it's going, and so forth. When you're bright, cheery, you've just had your cup of coffee, you have a lot of energy, I want to do the hard work, the intellectual work. And at the end of the day, we'll talk about things that are easier and more fun to assimilate. So I'm going to start off with a technique called hierarchy of values. Now, we started off Smart Recovery. It was actually Ration Recovery. That's one of the alumni from that era here, up till 1994. Then we switched the name and the style of the program to Smart Recovery. And the reason was we weren't smarter than anyone else, but it was very difficult to find a name that you can trademark, a familiar name. That's why you have companies like Exxon and with 2 X's and 3M and so forth. So we came up with SMART, and then afterwards we backfilled the acronym to Self-Management and Recovery Training. It's kind of miraculous that it fit like that, but that's what we did. So the emphasis is a self-empowerment program, and it's an abstinence-oriented program. Now, like AA in its early years, they tried this, they tried that. They'd meet after the meetings, Bill W. and Dr. Bob and the other people. They'd sit around the table and they would decide, well, let's try this, let's try that, see what works. And over a period of about 10 years, they developed what crystallized as the AA program, and then the NA program, and it's sort of remained crystallized ever since. We're still in the developmental phase after 25 years. One reason is that we're science-based, and as science keeps pushing its frontiers out, learning more, getting more information, we add that to our program. So we're constantly adding tools, techniques and things like that, because if you're science-based and science isn't static, you have to keep moving too. Now, you may recall ration recovery only had two modalities, coping with urges and using REBT to solve your problems. Well, pretty early we got rid of that solving your problems because nobody can solve their problems, okay? There's too many and they're too complicated, they're too contorted. All we can do is handle them better. We can do better at handling our problems. We can react more adaptively to our problems. We can do things to reduce the intensity of our problems. But it's not mathematics, folks, so we can't solve them, you know? We don't say this is, I forget what theorem it is, some Russian mathematician figured out 3 years ago, some theorem or other, been bothering mathematicians for years. Actually, I think they're still not 100% sure that he solved it, but they're pretty sure now. Eventually, they may be completely sure, but we can't be completely sure we solve our problems in everyday life. So one of the things that early on I recognized as I began to read the literature, especially about stages of change, was that there might be people at a recovery meeting who didn't want to recover. Seemed paradoxical to me, but so I had a meeting we had just started in Brookline, Massachusetts. I decided to find out for myself. So there were 12 people there. It so happened that that meeting, everyone's problem was in the alcohol arena. And I took a poll. I said, how many people here want to stop drinking? You have to answer yes or no. So 8 put up their hands yes, and I said, how many don't want to stop drinking? And 4 put up their hands no. Okay? So I said to myself, this is crazy. What are people coming to a recovery meeting for if they don't want to recover? So what do you think? What are they doing there?
Easier, softer way.
Yeah, maybe they find a softer way of doing it. Any other reason? None of them had to have a paper signed, so no one was under legal coercion to be there.
Well, they want to drink moderately then.
Yeah, so there are people there who figure, well, maybe they'll show me how to drink moderately, although we say we're abstinence-oriented.
Are they in pre-contemplation, just want to examine and...
Well, if they were in
quiet?
pre-contemplation, they wouldn't be there unless they were coerced. They couldn't be in contemplation, though, yeah. Any other thoughts?
Social club?
Huh?
Looking for a drinking partner.
Okay, good. Well, that's not a good place to go look for a drinking partner. You go to a bar, yeah.
Social?
Social, under social coercion.
Yeah.
2 of them said that their spouse or their partner said if they don't stop drinking, they're going to kick them out. So that was 2 of them. And one of them said he's not sure he's addicted. He knows he has a problem, not sure he's addicted. So he came to the meeting trying to figure it out, see what other people are doing, how bad they are, and where they are, and so forth. And then the 4th person said he just wanted to see what it was all about, you know, in the preparation phase. So these 2 people are in the preparation phase. They know they have a problem, and they're taking the next step, actually doing something about it. Not necessarily stopping, but actually doing something about it. They've moved into the preparation phase. Now, these phases may take a long, long time. So, or they may be instantaneous. I know 2 cases where people had 1 blackout, they said, that's it, and they never drank again for many, many years. I met these 2 because one of them brought his wife in because she developed the problem, and in the course of the check-in, it became clear that he had 1 blackout. I won't go into the details, but anyway, that was 35 years ago. He woke up in a town, he didn't know where he was or something,